Alright, so Shakkoumon versus Numemon.
Yeah, I don't know how much we need to explain about Numemon. I think people are kind of familiar with what the deck does.
Yes.
A real quick overview of what's new. The new Ukomon, the insane card in the deck.
Eight Ukos,
Yeah.
8 Ukos Nume, yeah.
And Valkyriemon's the other big thing. They
Yeah.
now have like a really ridiculous ace trap to put on you.
Valkyriemon's actually like an absurd ace.
It really is.
And considering they very frequently intern on Monzai, that's like a crazy card for
Yeah.
them.
Now, so for Shakkoumon, this is the deck that like I actually really like Shakkoumon, but like, and I think we'll see the issues in this video. But I feel like the deck kind of struggles to like win. Like it's actually pretty good at controlling because the new Shakkoumon on evolve, whether it's DNA or normal, just on evolve becomes immune. So you can get this level 5 ace trap set up that's like actually really safe, and they get some really powerful ace cards they can use. They can also use Valkyriemonn. They can use the new Vikemon. They can even, if you have the blue Shakkoumon, you can even do the Imperialmon Fire Mode ace if you want to. It's got a lot of flexibility in like what it can do. And right here we're seeing the Ankylamon. One thing I will point out, he is on play on evolve. You pick a Digimon, that Digimon cannot attack players until the end of the opponent's turn. It even has barrier on top of that, so it can even get some like low-level aggro to swing. Yeah, it's actually a really good card in a deck that's like kind of so-so.
Yeah, it's good at slowing down.
So what he did there was he played the new Patamon, who was on play evolve into a free or angel in your hand for 1 less. And then because he had the black Armadillomon, he could do end of turn DNA. So he did the new Shock, so he got to recover and bounce something. So honestly, that's actually a pretty good like response. That's like the kind of thing you want Shakkoumon to do. You want to be able to control the board.
That was, yeah, the old check.
Yeah, that's the old check. Yeah. I mean, really the new Shock control support too. You just put some of the security instead of into the hand. Yeah, so that was like honestly a really good response turn because you got to remove the Monzai without triggering ace or an on-station effect.
Yep. And it's in this position, even with 4 memory, it's a bit difficult for Numemon to actually clear that body.
Yep.
So not a ton he can probably do here other than just set up.
Yeah, and if he swings, he'll probably trigger an ace. So yeah, just doing Monzai makes sense. Effectively a 5 play cost, so you get to choke for 1. Oh, that's right. He applies the security minus and minus 3k, but I don't really think Shock cares about that right now. Oh, and one other thing I should point out, the new baby, the new Ukomon, it gives blocker to a Digimon with 2 or more colors. It might also have to be yellow, I'm not sure about that part, but that Shakwa is a blocker.
Yeah, very strange inherit for an egg, but I mean it is a cool inherit. You basically just have blocker at all times.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
You can even play it in Sylphimon if you want to go yellow instead of red base.
Yeah, that's true actually.
Yep, so we just evolved to the sheep in the back, and we're just gonna kind of sit on the shack, like, just make him look scared. I wonder if you can count how many different ways I say shack in the but anyway.
I still never know how to correctly pronounce the name. I just change it a little bit every time. Just kind of at the end, and you're good. Yeah, the Shakkoumon deck, I will say, it is pretty cool that they kind of made a deck out of nothing, because Armadillo has never really gotten any, support of any real value, and so it's neat that they've come back, and even if the deck isn't great, I do think it's cool that it exists.
Right.
Same thing with the Sylphimon deck, except in the case of Sylphimon, it's actually good.
Right.
Which is cool.
So is this a drain by 6 or 8k? How much did this drain?
Should be 8k, I believe, if you just played out the
Yeah, I think the new Ankylamon gives a 1k boost on opponent's turn, so he might be alive by 1k.
Every 1k matters. Now he's probably trying to see if he can get another 1k drain somewhere.
Yeah. Like, he needed a way to play another body before the Monzai X.
Yes.
Okay, so he is going to swing. We're going to see if the ace will happen here. It does not. Oh, that's right. He does have 2 checks because of the Monzaimon. Ooh, we did hit the tamer. That's really good here.
This tamer is actually really crazy, too.
It is, yeah.
Like, all of these free-play tamers are really good, but this one I feel like just feels especially insane. Like, getting a D-Digivolve on a tamer is pretty...
Yeah, like, standalone, I think you're correct. I think this is kind of one of the most insane ones. So right there, he got to evolve the Monzai to drain the last bit of DP off the Shock. We'll see if he can respond to this. So we move up the Sheep. The Sheep is actually a really interesting card, too, because it has Collision, the new keyword. So when he attacks, his opponent is forced to block with one of their Digimon. But then the Sheep also says that when an attack is redirected, you can just cancel the attack. And it looks like he
Fortunately, he
got
had
hit by
a-
the Valkyrie, yeah. And he also didn't do anything with the free tamer. I guess he didn't have anything he wanted to play off of it.
The Valk Ace 5K is a blanket effect, right?
It is.
So he, at this point, he can't even play anything off that tamer if you... Well, I mean, he could, but it would die immediately.
Yeah. So I need to like check rulings. If you cancel an attack with the sheep, then your opponent still ace.
I don't know.
I mean, like, our judge is playing the shock deck, so I assume that whatever happened was done correctly. Like, I trust that. But I'm honestly not sure if he canceled the attack or not. Like, that part's a little unclear in the video.
And yeah, I wonder at what point canceling the attack happens.
It happens when the attack is redirected.
When it's redirected? Okay. Which the blocker timing, though, is after counter.
Oh, you're right. You're
So,
right. Yeah,
yeah.
so it does still lose to aces, which
Yeah.
is a little unfortunate, yeah.
Pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shock just doesn't really have any way to deal with Swarm.
Yeah.
That's the other issue. It's good at, like, maybe single stack clearing, but...
Well, he also never got to pull off an ace. Because
That's true.
it's like I said before, I don't know if this deck was playing it, but you can play the Valk in shock.
You can
And-
play the Valk, you can play, like you were saying earlier, the fighter mode,
Yeah.
and then obviously the Vikemon is the main one. This deck can also run Magna X.
Yes, it
I
can.
suspect he probably wasn't running it to not take the steam away from the other Magna decks.
I think he actually was.
Oh, he actually was. Okay.
Yeah, I think he was running it as like a 1 or 2 of.
Gotcha,
I'd have to double check the deck list later. But yeah, I don't know if he was running Valk though. But Valk is a really good card in this deck. Like, especially in the meta with Numemon running around. Like, it's really good. So something else we didn't see, we never saw the new Shack, which is just on Evolve, you're just protected, just period. You don't even have to DNA to get that protection. So the new Shack is like a really good card to set up an ace and just kind of like sit there, be safe. You have a blocker if you have the egg. You're unaffected, and you get to have like really powerful ace monsters that you can have in your hand that you can just like respond with.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest issues with the deck, which we kind of saw there, is just going to be consistency.
Yeah.
Also, in addition to,
Yes.
in power to end the game, but like even just the consistency to pull off your plays. Because unlike some of the other decks,
Like Imperial Dramon.
especially, yeah, it doesn't have the searching.
No.
So you're gonna have to kind of just hard draw into a lot of your cards, and that's really difficult when you're talking about needing to essentially make 2 lines to pull off
Yeah.
most of your standard plays.
And some of the old searches hinder you. Like we saw at the beginning of the game, he played the BT8 Armadillomon, which can only grab 2 colored yellow cards. You can't grab... That does get most of the things in the deck, but you can't grab any other rookies.
And you can't grab Vikemon Ace.
That's right. Yeah,
It's
because
blue,
Black Mon
black.
is blue black. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's really unfortunate how the color situation worked for this deck.
they just designed it. I mean, I think making Armadillo black was actually a good call. It probably should have been black to begin with, honestly.
Yeah, it's been all over the place. It's been blue, yellow, and black.
And black, yeah.
Yeah.
So they, and you see all 3 of the colors in the deck, but it feels like if they had a little bit more focus, or they had accounted for the fact that, well, most of the existing support doesn't even work with this new stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because, like I said before, I do like Shack a lot. It's just missing. It needs more good cards. Like, it has good cards, it just doesn't have enough good cards. Is what I would say.
All right, well, that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one.